Yorch Torch is really using today as a moment to push an agenda, almost like coordinated with JDA and the Gamergate 3 thing a couple days ago. Now we have this coming from Yorch Torch. And shout out to Cult Classic Cage. Cassie says how it started, how it's
Oh
going.
my god. I'm gonna go balls to the wall with this on my show on Monday.
Gamers, which game would you buy? Created by 3,000 feminist activists, Assassin's Creed Shadows, created by 30 passionate gamers. Expedition 33.
33 passionate gamers. Do your better research there,
Right,
Yorch.
that too. That
33
too.
passionate gamers.
Good point. Gamers, Expedition 33 reports are true. You know how he gets out of this one? Oh, things changed. Things changed. I thought one thing about it, but I was wrong because I expected better out of them. They never take any accountability for the L ever. And this is what we have, by the way.
Well, before we go, this post, the one that says created by 3,000 feminists and then 30 passionate gamers, this is before he quote unquote played the game, assuming he actually played it. What's the change? What changed for him here? Black people. Like that's it. Black, because there's nothing in the games that's woke or feminist. It's just literally the only thing that changed from this post to now is he saw black NPCs.
Yep.
I'm sorry. To me, that does seem like actual fucking racism.
Well, it is. Like you said, they are actual bigots. Like, so it is. And I almost feel like he is taking the information from JDA, where JDA pushed the what makes something woke, and didn't he say something like girls and black people or something?
He literally said black people in gaming, or maybe I might be paraphrasing, but
right, but something along
something akin to black NPCs, black people in games. Yes.
Yeah. And now I see Yorch Torch basically co-opting that and being like, "Yep, we're running with that narrative because it's been decided." Again, with the racism, could you imagine? That's like evil, bro. Like these people actually think black people are bad. Think about that for a second. Were you done, by the way, before I go on to the next one?
Well, I was just saying we can extend this to Doom: The Dark Ages. I've watched all the trailers. Doom: The Dark Ages looks like it's gonna be a blast of a game. Not as good as Expedition 33 because holy shit, but a blast of a game. I'm sorry, the female warrior that looks battle hardened, that doesn't mean woke. We love strong fucking women when they're done right. Now, if she says shit like I'm a woman and I can do it better than you, Doom guy, okay, that's woke. We'll all call that shit out. Yeah. But if she's just a fucking warrior that happens to be a female, I don't give a shit.
Well, think about from this perspective. They have become it's a business model where they need content, like we all do, by the way. It's a business model for everyone. This is their business model where they need content to continue the business. Going with the premise, which I personally believe they do not care about gaming. They do not actually game. They do not care about any of this stuff. They just care about pushing a message because that message is the business model that equals dollars and attention. And that being the case, literally any game that comes out, you can find something that's quote unquote woke in it. And otherwise, if you can't, it's probably Tetris. Like, and even then, like
I made a joke to Nure about she said she was going to make a video about the wokest game ever, and it was going to be a game that has no wokeness into it at all. And I was like, oh, I can't wait to see Tetris Woke Edition. And she's like, that's it. That's the one. So Nure is actually working on a video. I hope she actually goes through with it about why Tetris is woke. Obviously, it's a satire video.
That's perfect, though.
But yeah, so yeah, Tetris was the excellent, perfect example. But it makes me think these guys have been watching, like all of us have, the death of woke content and noticing that it is a very time-limited bubble. Why would what you're doing also not be a time-limited bubble? You might be able to ride this wave for a few years, but this is also gonna burst. You would think that individuals on the right would learn from the mistakes of the left and knowing that this shit doesn't work, but they're not.
It's a really good point. Like, think about just earlier tonight for us, like proof, by the way, in the pudding of what we stand for and what we care about. Because in SNH, we spent the better portion of the stream talking about gushing over Expedition 33 and how
Yeah.
awesome it was and our favorite things about it and what we love about it, and just genuinely having a passionate conversation about that. I don't think people like Yorch or JDA know how to do that with anything, because that's not like tonight should prove to everyone that deep down at the heart, we want it to be great. And when it is, we want to champion that and recognize it and hope that this happens every time.
Dude, I tell you all the time, not just about gaming, because again, on my channel, I cover movies, comic books, anime, the whole nine. I don't want to hate on things. And like if I assume a film is gonna be woke and I go into it and it's not good, I'm happy to retract my shit. X-Men 97 proved that. I made an X-Men 97 hit piece because everyone assumed non-binary morph. This cartoon's gonna be woke. It's modern day Marvel. It's the MCU. You've got a gay black showrunner, and I did a fucking hit job on that video on that show.
Mm-hmm.
Then it came out, and dude, I ate crow. X-Men 97 was incredible.
Yep.
Bo DeMayo, the gay black guy that made it, comes on streams with me and other friends of mine and talks about how no, I didn't want any of that shit. I want to make a good sub. He showed us now. He was bringing up X-Men comics from the 80s and 90s, and he knew his shit. It was like, I got to take the L on this. X-Men 97 wasn't woke. Not only that, the showrunner knew his lore, and he was a true fan. I'm happy to take that L because that means that there are people out there that care about nerd culture. It goes beyond video games.
And then it's possible to do it right. Like, that's proof of it right there. Like, it's not like you're fighting a ghost here. Like, there is a right way to make it proper where it doesn't turn woke. I was just thinking while you were saying that too, about this ridiculous case that Yorch is trying to push forward with the because there's black people, it's woke. Like, if he actually played the game, he'd probably have a better argument if he wanted to like show some of the scenes where the girl is talking to the guy and telling him like to man up, like you need to risk your life for this. Don't be a pussy. Like that conversation. Like he could have used that and been like, oh, it's woke because girl boss, which still would not hold water at all because of
not in the slightest, no.
But at least he could at least try to co-opt the narrative of girl boss instead of just being like, oh yeah, black people, it's woke. It's like, what? That doesn't, you can't even do that.
There's a comment real quick. Where to go? Yeah. Odin Darkhill said, ironically, the gay black showrunner was a true fan. That's something Disney cannot stand. So Bo DeMayo was he was on a podcast with a few friends of mine. I was supposed to be on there, but unfortunately I got stupid sick and didn't get to attend, but was still watching. And they asked him this. They were asking, like, you're a gay black dude. We're in this era of woke Disney, woke Marvel. What were you told? What were the notes, the whole nine? And he basically said they literally told me, do not read the comics. Do not adapt the source material. We want our own thing and we want it to be agenda driven. And he said no. And he, as a fan of the comics, wrote a comic accurate version anyway, or at least not quite comic accurate, but accurate to the vein and spirit of the comics. He took some liberties. Disney is claiming to have fired him for inappropriate behavior, but they've not described what that is. That's why he has an ongoing lawsuit with them. And so people want to say, oh, it's because he had an OnlyFans. Well, if you go to Bo DeMayo's OnlyFans, it's spicy, but there's no full nudity. He's not nothing like that. He basically does female thirst traps, but as a gay black dude. He doesn't actually show anything or whatnot. What he does is appropriate for Twitter. He posts it on Twitter. Like there's nothing actual pornographic about it. But Disney actively told him, do not read the source material. Well, he grew up reading it. He was already familiar with it. So like that's off the table. It's I don't doubt things like this are going on in gaming to a different extent, because a lot of times there isn't quote unquote source material in gaming unless you're doing like sequels or whatnot. But if this is happening with Disney, why would it not be happening everywhere else?
Right. Speaking of, by the way, does Yorch have a YouTube channel or anything?
I don't know if he has his own. He guests on JDAs and a few others, and he does live
Okay,
streams
so
with them, but
I
I
just
don't know
want
if
to
he
make
has his
sure we
own.
knew he was a person because I was like,
No, I've seen him do live. I thought for ages he was JDA's alt account until I saw him and JDA
right. That's what
on
I was just
stream
thinking. I'm
together
like,
on a
wait a
live.
second, is this guy an alt account?
No, yeah, I thought so. He's not. Him and JDA have been on streams together. They've conversed the whole nine. Yorch
Wow.
is a real person, but he's not a genuine person.
Right. And we got this one from the legend Epic Mike.
Epic Mike
Says
who
gamers.
is terrible at Resident Evil, by the way. Just thought I watch his Resident Evil streams. He fucking sucks. He makes Smash like a grade A gamer.
Maybe that's why I like him so much. Epic Mike says, gamers, how am I supposed to Expedition 33 with all these fucking black folk clogging up the screen? DEI strikes again. And then obviously this is sarcasm. But man, that
banger tweet. I put Martin Light in the same tweet. Banger tweet. Way to go, Epic Mike.
That was a good one. Then we got this one. Kata doing the right thing, screenshot instead of quote tweeting, says, yes, because when fighting the extinction of your race, the blacks should be your concern. And shout out to Packer Girl, who's in the chat tonight.
Been on my show a couple times. She's a sweetheart. She was in the chat earlier. Packer Girl, I love you.
She said, gamers, grifting tourist JDA declared he's the leader of the gaming community. I am the leader of the gaming community, and you are excommunicated. I mean,
was this part of the same thread where he did his whole manifesto, or is this a different thread?
I think this is different. This isn't a reply to KJN Gamer saying this is part 2 because part 1 I was in part 1, I believe.
Okay.
The gaming community.
Oh, this part 1 of like the grifters that I was talking about earlier. It was like you and Pirate Nation and yeah, okay.
And Yorch Torch and Vara Dark and other people too. But so this is a part 2, and I think here's the thing. I don't know if John De La Rose is like retarded or if this is his idea of like sarcasm.
He is. No, this isn't sarcasm. And here's why I know. So last year, I think around June or so, I dropped a JDA fucking hit piece. I just scorched his ass in my video. Video did really well, by the way. Thanks to all you guys. He saw it. He got upset spaghetti. He DM'd me, much like he DM'd you. And he says, bring me on your show. Let's talk about this. Of course, I will platform anyone. It doesn't matter. We agree, disagree. I'll platform anyone. Now, what the video was about was him calling The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom woke because Zelda was the main character.
I remember this whole thing. And this is back when like I was trying to go along to get along with them. And I was just like, I really wanted to cover it, but I'm like, I don't want to deal with this. Like this guy's, it's a stupid take, but we all have them, whatever. Like that was my mentality. And you were like, no, this is balls to the wall. I am taking this guy and I am destroying him.
I roasted the. I think it's actually to this day one of my highest viewed videos. Or maybe it's not.
By the way, that should be a lesson to all aspiring YouTubers out there. Never hesitate. If you want to make a video on someone, do it. But go on.
True.
And that includes me, Leon. If you want to roast me someday.
I mean, to be fair, when you and Asmongold before you guys started getting along and whatnot, right. I did the video and I took Asmongold's side as opposed to yours. Guess what? You were both friends.
So you were both
we're
wrong.
Adults and we understand this shit.
You were both. Hey, you were both wrong. Gotcha.
Fair enough. Yeah, no. So I took JD a task in a video. He reached out to me and said, "Let's talk about this on a live stream on your show." So he came on, and even on the show, he kept saying it's a woke game because Zelda's the main character. She's replacing Link. And I was like, no, you're a grifter. That's not what woke means. And he was using the argument, wouldn't I be a grifter if I just went along with the narrative? And that was such a confusing thing for him to say to me because, like, no, grifters are people that lie to sell their shit. Sometimes the narrative, as rare as it may be, is the correct narrative. Like when people, everyone's talking about how great a movie Sinners is, right? Sinners is an mostly all black vampire movie, and no one's talking about DEI. No one's talking about how it's just a black movie. Everyone, white, black, whatever, loves it. The narrative is a good movie. I've seen it. It's a good movie. Like, sometimes the narrative is correct. Zelda being the main character in Echoes of Wisdom was just a good game. There was nothing woke about it. No, we're on Gamergate 4. Didn't you guys see Smash's comments on my video? And I guess he recreated on stream the other night. We're in Gamergate 4 now.
Right?
Smash started it. He's the
I mean,
boss.
I am the leader of the gaming community.
Yeah,
so
I'm actually Smash's employee in Gamergate 4.
Don't listen to John Del Rose when he says he is the leader of the gaming community, because I am the leader of the gaming community, and I am excommunicating John Del Rose from it.
I won't lie. I very rarely do I audibly laugh out loud at YouTube comments, but when you commented on my video, I'm starting Gamergate 4. Like, I literally was like, like I genuinely chuckled out loud.
That makes my day, actually. I aim to please. We got K-Ann for the P50 says, Yorch is an engagement bait. He made $50 off of comments, which, you know what? I believe that. I believe that. I mean, I have 2.5 times as many followers or so on X, and I just got paid earlier today, but it was like $33, $33.
I'm not monetized. I'm close to being monetized on X, but I'm not quite there yet. You need 3 million impressions, and I'm like slightly above 2 million, so I'm not quite there. I've got everything else, but my impressions are slightly under the 3 million mark.
Yep. You'll get there eventually.
Oh, right? Yeah, I'm not tripping on. I use X to shit post. Like,
I mean, I kind of do too. I use it to push my videos out there, and to shit post, and to inform people of stuff that I find interesting. Or
I say serious stuff on X as well. Like when I was going off on Yorch Torch Gaming, for example, like to me that was a serious post. But also, did you see? I think it was Pirate Nation. He was posting the side by side of the Oblivions of like the way the character models look in the old, the way they look now, and he's like, "Oh, it's such a downgrade." Like, do you remember that?
I did. I thought I had it up, but I don't. Yeah, but I know what you're talking about.
I quote tweeted it. It was like Nintendo did it first, and I posted Tingle from The Legend of Zelda. Like, it was a fucking shit post. It did fine numbers, but like it was just me making a joke drunk at 3 a.m. Like,
yep. That's funny. But yeah, like my greater point with why I bring it up is like I use X as a very important tool to keep me connected with what's happening. And it's very important for the product that I provide to people. I don't know what the fuck Yorch uses it for. What the hell? It's I mean, to each their own. I'm not going to try to tell
Unabomber style manifestos.
Right. Exactly. And the stuff he writes, my goodness, it's essays. I'm like, bro, imagine if you applied yourself. If you really are grifting, you can grift and make money in other ways so much better. You're spinning wheels here and not going anywhere with it.
But that is why I think in part I don't think he's being honest about gaming, but that is why I think he's being honest about his views on culture, humanity, politics, Christianity, whatever it may be, because he is really goddamn consistent, and he's really heavy, hammers shit home in a way that, frankly, I find disgusting. But there are people that it appeals to, and so the beliefs must be real, even if the care about gaming isn't.
If the beliefs are real, which I think you're right, yikes. Because for the longest time, I was just kind of like, oh, they're probably just pro trolls. But the more I'm reading what he says and thinking about this, I'm like, no, they never break character. This is literally just who he is. And yikes.